Right, we begin with breaking news. These here are the latest pictures of Israeli strikes in Gaza City at al-Shifa hospital. The order came just earlier from Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to attack Gaza. It came after a gunfight in southern Gaza. That was between Hamas and Israeli soldiers. And what Netanyahu claimed were violations of the ceasefire agreement. What you're seeing there, those are the latest exclusive pictures to Al Jazeera from Gaza City. Let's bring in Al Jazeera correspondent Nida Ibrahim, who joins me now here in the studio. Nida, so this has escalated very quickly this evening. We heard the threats. We were wondering how long it would take before the strikes happen or whether they would happen immediately. And now we're seeing those strikes.
Yes, indeed. And we are getting reports of the Israeli army reportedly telling Israeli media that the wave of aerial strikes will start now. And indeed, we've seen it start in several areas in Gaza, mainly in the western side of Gaza City, according to Palestinians in the city. And again, this is a response to the Israeli threats that we've been hearing, and they've been doubling down on them since the meeting of the Israeli cabinet has concluded, saying that they will be forcefully hitting Gaza. Now, how forcefully, that remains to be seen, and that remains to be seen how the Americans are going to respond to that serious escalation, specifically that we've heard from American officials talking to Al Jazeera, saying that they have known that these bodies, the extraction of the captives is going to take some time. It's going to be a challenging process, and that's the reason why we've been seeing this flurry of American officials flying into Israel to try and curb Netanyahu from striking Gaza again, which is something he's been wanting to do from day one, and he is doing. Again, we're talking about the strikes beginning, but let's keep an eye and see the severity and the scale of the attacks and how the Americans are going to respond to the Israeli violations.
All right, Nida, do stay with us because we're going to go straight to Hani Mahmoud. He's on the phone for us in Gaza City. Hani, tell us what you're seeing and hearing. You predicted this just a few minutes ago. We were talking that this could happen any moment.
Absolutely, and it looks like the Israeli military has resumed the strikes across multiple areas of the Gaza Strip. The one line that we have verified and confirmed is the one rocket that fell behind the al-Shifa hospital, very close to one of the major buildings that was just renovated and put back into service. It rocked the building, caused a state of mayhem and panic among patients and medical staff inside the hospital. Eyewitnesses described the explosion as massive, despite the fact it was only a small rocket. But it seems to have been amplified in terms of the echoes that it caused, because we could hear it right here from the area, and we are about 20 minutes away from al-Shifa hospital. Of course, this followed the order from the Israeli Prime Minister, directive order to launch an immediate attack. The directive came after Israel accused Hamas of violating the ceasefire, and this is an opportunity just to remind viewers that for the past almost 2 weeks since the ceasefire took hold, the Israeli military violated the ceasefire close to 45 times. That includes shooting and killing people who try to go back to their homes and people who cross what the Israeli military established and described as the yellow line, a new line that has redrawn Gaza map, preventing people and depriving them from going back to their homes. I also want to emphasize, for the past hour, there has been a massive level of aerial activities in the skies of Gaza City, and that has been seen through the Gaza skies and involving at least 2 of the drones. One hovers in the eastern side, while the other one right at the middle of the skies of Gaza City.
And we are getting at the moment some more information coming through, Hani, sounds of tanks firing and explosions, as we were just talking about, heard and seen in Gaza City. Can I just clarify something? Did you say it's happening near al-Shifa hospital, or is your understanding that it's happening, the attack on al-Shifa hospital?
No, it was behind the Shifa hospital. We're talking about just one street away from the Shifa hospital, and we just confirmed the name of the street, and it's about 5 minutes to drive from the facility itself. It's an empty pocket of land in that area where the rocket was fired at.
So, Hani, obviously people, must be panicked. What was the feeling before these attacks happened, knowing that these Israeli attacks were imminent as soon as that statement did come out from Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu?
Well, I mean, the language that is used by the Israeli Prime Minister is very, very intimidating, very threatening, and it's a stark reminder of everyone here of how fragile this ceasefire has been. And it almost feels every time there's something going on, the Israeli Prime Minister was forced into ceasefire and can't miss an opportunity to breach it or to go back to the same mass aerial bombardment that we saw in the past 2 years. So the idea here that there is much of the anxiety, much of the fear that one more time of this is going to pull us back into a square zero where things were going very bad with daily and constant bombardment across the Gaza Strip. People have been trying to breathe and to mourn it properly and grieve it properly and do their best to come to closure with the fact that many of their relatives and family members are still beneath the rubble. People are trying to reclaim whatever left of their life, and these violations of the ceasefire just constant reminder of how fragile this ceasefire has been, because it has been almost 45 violations so far by the Israeli military. There's also that constant feeling that feeds down into permanent displacement, while thousands of families are not allowed to go back to their homes in areas where the Israeli military technically is controlling, and that's close to 55 to 60% of the total area of the Gaza Strip. Also, the drone that we're hearing as well since morning, so it felt more like this was in preparation since early hours of this morning. And I remember reporting about this earlier today as we were watching civil defense crew searching and recovering bodies from one of the areas here in Gaza City. The constant buzz of the drone was in the background. It could be heard clearly as we were reporting. So these factors together are just feeding into one conclusion. This ceasefire is fragile, and if people here are worried, they're panicking that it might not hold for long.
Yeah, of course, I can imagine it must be a very difficult time, especially as people were going back to their homes, trying to see what's left of it and perhaps return to some form of normality. We will be checking in with our teams there in Gaza. Thank you very much, Hani Mahmoud. But let's now go live to